I'll tell you what, there's this quote out there, parenting isn't a practice, it's a daily learning experience.
And some days are easier than others. When it's tough and you're short on answers, we hope you'll keep the Nebraska Family Helpline in mind.
Our guests today, Bohn and Kyle Kinney. Good to see both of you this morning.
Welcome back.
Thanks for having us.
Let's talk about the helpline first. How did this thing get started?
Yeah, it started in 2010, so January 1st, almost 6 full years now, in response to the safe haven crisis. So when parents were dropping their kids off at local hospitals saying, we don't know what to do, we're out of ideas, they're having behavioral issues, the state said we need to intervene and create some services for these families.
I remember that, and people were coming from other states, bringing their children in.
Yeah, it was tough.
So when parents call in, every call's got to be different, but do you see certain topics that emerge most often?
You know, every parenting family situation is very different, but what we do see a lot of is kids are out of control, they're lying, they're not following rules, and they're not respecting authority. So we hear that all the time.
What type of information should a parent have when they call the helpline?
Go ahead.
Really, they can call with no information other than the phone number, and they know they need help. What we hear from a lot of parents is they feel like they're walking on eggshells in their own home, and they don't like that. They don't enjoy that feeling, and they call us and they describe what's going on. And sometimes it's very simple questions: having trouble potty training, or my kid just won't stay in bed. Other times it's very serious crisis. Kids aren't coming home for weeks. They're gone all weekend. They're cutting, they're suicidal, they're being bullied, and those are very serious situations. But really, they don't need any information other than our phone number, and we'll help them figure out from there.
And we're keeping that number up at the bottom of the screen throughout this visit, so our viewers have a chance to jot it down or plug it into their phone. What if you don't know if your child's behavior is a problem, and maybe as a parent you've got that gut feeling like this is an issue, but I don't really know? Is there a way to be certain?
Well, we certainly would rather have them call when they're just curious. Like, this doesn't seem quite right, I'm not sure, because preventing those long-term issues, it's so much easier to avoid a mess than to clean one up when they're 17, 18, or 19. So seeing things at 5, 6, 7, 8, give us a call, let's talk through it. Maybe that's just normal, or in other times it's let's seek some outside help on this, and we'll make some connections there for them. But by all means, if it doesn't seem right, go ahead and call.
Yeah, but they're not always worst case scenario calls. I mean, like you said, some of them are very basic, but how many calls do you get in a week or a month? I mean, how many people are calling in?
Yeah, since we've started, we've gotten over 22,000 calls. So parents are calling. We get, 24 hours a day we're open, so parents can call at any point. We know that crises don't just happen, at noon during your lunch break at work, 11 o'clock at night and midnight too. So call us anytime. We're always there for you.
Parents might not need sort of a specific answer, but they're looking for a referral, or where do I go? Which resources are available for this? Is that something you can connect them with?
Absolutely. Our main goal is to de-escalate the current crisis. What's going on right now that we can help you with? And let's get you to a professional that can give you some more specific ideas. So we give out lots of referrals for counseling, mental health services, maybe even just a mentoring program for your child. Maybe there isn't a severe behavioral health disorder. Maybe it just is, I need some extra help to support my kid.
In talking to you last time, I remember there are certain cases where you offer follow-up calls, or is it every call do you offer a follow-up call?
Every call where it's appropriate, because some of those calls are, like you said, they're not major crisis or major issues. It wouldn't be necessary or appropriate. If the family would like it, we'd certainly give it. But anytime where there's a plan put in place with the family where we're going to do this, then this, then this, we're certainly going to offer follow-up calls and to connect with them 3 days later, 4 days later, a week later, 60 days later, up to 120 days later at times. We're going to stick through that plan to make sure, again, they're getting the help that they need.
I'm thinking some people might be concerned about the confidentiality aspect. Maybe if they're, going through a custody situation and they don't want that to come back on them, like they didn't have control. I mean, can you assure people that when they call in that they're okay to call?
Yeah, we keep information private. That's very important to us. We are mandatory reporters, as all adults are in the state of Nebraska. So if there's a safety issue, we'll take action on that. But we don't share our information with other folks. So.
How difficult is it getting that word out to parents that asking for help is okay? Because I know there's times, I've got a 3, a 5, and a 13-year-old, and my wife and I sometimes, what do we do in this situation? What do we do in this situation? We sometimes go back and forth with each other, but because parenting is hard.
It is.
It's not easy.
It's very
so
hard.
what do you tell parents?
You're not alone. Like I said, we've taken over 22,000 calls. We've heard most situations. You're not alone in this. If you've had this problem, someone else has probably had it. Give us a call. We can help you, give you ideas that other parents have shared with us too that have been helpful and worked for them. So parenting is not intended to be just in your own home by yourself.
This job must be difficult on some days, but it's also got to be rewarding. Kyle, is there an example that you look back and when you went home that night, you felt really good about what you'd accomplished?
Oh, sure. We get follow-up calls with families, but we also have families that call back, and they just want to let us know, because our crisis counselors, they do a really wonderful job of being family-centered and talking through what's going on and giving them good advice and getting them in the right directions. And when the family calls back and can relate how that crisis counselor helped them that day, gave them the confidence to make some hard decisions and move forward. They just want to let us know. It's not required, but they feel like just in that 20-minute phone call, they connected with one of our crisis counselors so much they felt they want us to know, and we're one of the first people they let know when they've had a success or things worked out, and so that's always rewarding.
That's making a difference.
It's 6 years now.
Yes,
And
just
I realize people are still learning about the services. We've got the phone number at the bottom of the screen there, from bedwetting to maybe more serious teenager problems. We run the gamut.
Thank you for
Everything.
joining us today. It's always great to have you here.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for
Appreciate
coming.
it.
So we're going to